All righty. Everybody come join. The pregame show, week number 9. Lesser the games, the more important impact it is. Let me share on social media while everybody comes in. We have a couple guests tonight, different guests than we've had previous weeks. Post your comments, questions. Thank you for sharing. We'll get it started here. We're going to run over 15 games here tonight. Get it going here. Just sharing it a couple different places. I'm at Stats Coast Football, getting ready tonight. All excited. Nice weather. Say the last weekend of October, and really, it is not, as they have some games next Thursday. But do share the link. Ask any questions. We're going to go over tonight's games. We have 15 games. We're going to be on to hopefully about 6:30. So as you're preparing to go to the games, or if you're already at the games, or if you're at home at your headquarters, we're glad everybody is here. 15 games. We're going to start. All of them are region games. 1A, Sacred Heart at 1-2 at Resurrection, who's 1-2. 3A, Tylertown at St. Patrick. St. Stanislaus at Perry Central. Those are two teams we have in 3A. 4A is Moss Point at Greene County. That is Moss Point's last game and last chance to get a win on the season. And Greene County 2-0. They're hosting Moss Point. Number 3rd ranked Poplarville at Bay High. Pass Christian is off this week in that Region 4A. They are 1-2. 5A, Stone is at Wayne County. Yeah, bingo. Laurel at Van Cleve, 9th ranked. And right, and I say that, of course, bingo had his show last night with Coach Bramlett. Very informative. I liked the filming of it, of the plays that he goes over and says, this player did this and that player did that. I really like that bingo. And bingo's Gaucher Gators 2-0, all in control of the 5A class there in Region 4 is at East Central. Don't overlook East Central. I know they're struggling, but Gaucher should be able to take them tonight. 6A in 6A Region 3, Pearl River Central at Hattiesburg. Pearl River Central already in the playoffs unofficially. And the other 6A Region 4 games, George County at West Harrison, Pascagoula at Hancock, Long Beach at Picayune. 7A, the 6 teams, Harrison Central at D'Iberville, Ocean Springs at Biloxi, and St. Martin at Gulfport. Those are the 15 games tonight. Game predictions are posted on the Facebook page that I did last night. I actually came on and did a special airing of the game predictions there. And again, we're going to have a guest coming on here, 2 guests here to get us down to the 6:30 time frame. We're going to go back as far as 1A, Sacred Heart at Resurrection. I have Sacred Heart winning that game 34-17. Both teams are at 1-2. And yes, Casey, as far as with the Maroon Tide, appreciate the comments. And any suggestions you guys want to talk about a certain team, we certainly can do that. Picayune it's almost deja vu from last year with them winning the region title. And then now they cannot overlook their game tonight as they were host Long Beach, as they have George County next week, which that's what it was last year for the region title. And they defeated George County last week. But they should beat Long Beach. I have it 55-24. We're going to bring on our guest here. There he is. There's Scott. So we got Scott. I was surprising everybody on who our guest is going to be. And it's Scott Watkins from the Sun Herald. So appreciate you joining us, Scott. You're on your way. We want to get an insight of what I know you of course write and cover high school football along with USM and other sports. What is a night like you for Friday night? How do you decide what game you're going to?
Yeah, sometimes I like to pick the biggest game, but at the same time, sometimes I like to pick a nice story. And what I also factor in is I don't like going to the same places, 2 or 3 times in a row. But tonight was easy. Tonight was an easy choice. I think far and away the best game on the coast is West Harrison and George County. So that is where I'm heading tonight. I think that's going to be a great one. I think it could be sneaky. It's got trap game written all over it for the Rebels, and looking forward to watching it.
Yes. West Harrison kind of disappointed. I know you might have been on the same page as me as far as thinking that West Harrison should beat Hancock that 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago, and they
uh,
lost in the last minute. I mean, I watched.
there hasn't been a day that's gone by, Matt, since that game that I haven't thought about that game. It's mind boggling that
Yeah,
that result even happened.
yeah. I mean, give credit to Hancock. I mean, they did what they needed to do, but they've been struggling big time in West Harrison. And last week, I was watching the live stream with Clay Sweeten them with talking ball, and that's all they doing was scoring. Picayune
Oh yeah.
and West Harrison, 69-50. That I know Picayune's defense is not the same as it has been, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean 69-50. West Harrison, we know they can run. With Stapleton is one of the running backs there at West Harrison, and so you're thinking that West Harrison. I mean, it wouldn't be as I say, shock the world if West Harrison beats George County tonight. It wouldn't be that. It would be um, a slight upset. I mean, I don't know if you want to rank it 3 out of 10. It would be a mild upset if they beat George County
Well,
tonight. But
talking about Hancock, at the same time that West Harrison was dropping a 50 burger on Picayune, Hancock was running up the score on George County. So I see, and it was almost entirely on the ground as well. So I see an opportunity here for West Harrison to do a lot of the same that I did last week with Jordan Stapleton, as you said, and Trey Harris. I feel like George County's rush defense may have been exposed a little bit in the last week or two. So that I think is going to loom large tonight.
yeah, the Rebels defense is not the strongest suit there
They defend the
of it.
pass well, but they do not defend the run well.
They don't, yeah. So I don't. Well, see, in fact, tonight the game is not streaming, so I won't be able to watch. I did watch, of course, West Harrison. I just said it against Picayune, but George County, West Harrison, I did not. I haven't seen George County all that much. Of course, with Deuce coming back and Moody there, and they're 2-0, and they may be looking, like I say, at next week's game at Picayune for the looks to be the
Mm-hmm.
region title as everything goes as planned there. So do you just go to one game per se? You don't jump. You don't try to go game. You're
No,
going to be
I
at
don't try to go
West
game to
Harrison.
game because we like to try to do a full story, really deep dive on something, and so that's why we like to stick to one game. TV bounces around, and that's good for them because it
Yeah,
allows them to get as many highlights as possible. We just like to stick to one story.
correct. So what other games that you're looking at that you can see could be a possible upset? Again, I know there are 15 games on the slate. Uh, I went over them earlier before you got on here. How about St. Stanislaus and Perry Central? I don't know if you're familiar with. I know Perry's not a coast school, but they're playing a lot better. And Rocket Charles are the defending region champions. Now they haven't won on the road. They're 0-4, and Perry's 2-2 at home. I do have Perry winning 31-17 over the Rocket Charles, but again, it could go either way. I mean, it's not going to be a shock. I do have a 14-point win for the Bulldogs.
No, the Rocks have a lot to figure out. They seem to still be searching for kind of an identity this year here in the post IGR era. Um, so I don't think it'll be an upset either if they win, but at the same time, I wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah, both of them are going to be in the playoffs. Unfortunately, like I said, with St. Patrick on their losing streak, is with 5 teams in the division, they're going to
Yeah,
be out.
right.
As far as 4A, again, with Poplarville at Bay High, which you get Poplarville should take care of business there. I have that score a little bit closer than some may think at 33-24, but I do have Poplarville winning, and then Moss Point at Greene County. Of course, Greene County and Poplarville will face next week what looks to be, of course, for the region title. I know Greene County's not technically a coast school, but Kobe King and his the quarterback there for for Greene County is really putting up some numbers there. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with.
Oh yeah,
Greene
he's
County.
I believe he's still the MHSAA's leading passer at the moment. Yeah, he's absolutely lighting it up. If you remember last year, Moss Point upset them, Greene County.
Yes.
So anything can happen. And I'm sure you're familiar with this stat. You are Matt Stats, but a loss tonight from Moss Point would be a 70-year first.
Yes. I did post that on there. That it was. We looked it up last week. It was 1952 is when the last time that they did not win a game, which is unfortunate there for Moss Point.
But that is an incredible stat, though. I mean, that is a long
It is
time
to go. Yes, because even Picayune, with Picayune on the high right there, I had a stat with the most. They have the most wins in a row. Picayune at 28 or whatever they had the season, but they also have one of the longest losing streaks at 21. I have that stat in front of me. So I mean, fans, currently are thinking, man, Picayune, how can they ever go lose 21 in a row? Well, teams, obviously have their ups and downs, and Moss Point, unfortunately, is having the ups and downs there. So the game, Greene County at Poplarville, that's a great look at next week there. I don't know, obviously, I'm going to pick. I may lean toward the home team, but we shall see how that game goes there. How is Stone? Is Stone going to rebound tonight after getting? I mean, I don't like to use the word punch in the face, but they got,
Well, Matt, they got punched in the face. I was there.
You were there? Yeah, I was watching the live stream with Wayne and them, and I had picked, Stone coming off that Laurel win on the road. I had Laurel beating them because it's just hard to win between the bricks, but Stone did it. They come home, and Van Cleve, here comes Van Cleve, limping in here, and they took it to them. I mean, you were there, so I don't say anything. It wasn't even close there. I mean, everything
wasn't. But, Stone can bounce back, and here's why. Last week, a lot of it was shaped up in the first few minutes. Stone made some mistakes right up there up front. They decided, for whatever reason, on their opening possession to use their backup punter on their first punt. I do not know why. And their starting punter is really good, actually, which makes this, really strange. And the backup drops the ball, and Van Cleve recovers in the red zone. That's how they score their first touchdown. Stone fumbles on the first play of their next drive. Van Cleve scores again. And it's 14-0 within 7 Stone plays. I think that Stone can bounce back because it picked it up in the second half. Their running back ended up with 100 yards, which was impressive because I'm pretty sure offensively they had negative yards in the entire first half. So I think, if they get off to a better start and they'll have a much, much better chance of playing a good game and playing as they have played really all year long.
Yeah, they're at Wayne County tonight, and of course it's always hard to win there at Wayne County. But as has been mentioned over the last several weeks, Wayne County is not the same Wayne County team as it has been over the last few years. Laurel, talking about Van Cleve, who beat Stone. Van Cleve is at home, will host Laurel. Who Van Cleve's 1-2 at home, Laurel's 1-2 on the road. I mean, all these teams are tied for second. With Stone at 1-1, Wayne County 1-1, Van Cleve, Laurel all 1-1. So it's a matter of getting that what team is going to be the odd team out, because East Central is not going to make the playoffs, and there's 6 teams. Now there's 5 for 4 positions. Does Van Cleve do what it needs to do and take out Laurel tonight?
That's the big question. Van Cleve's magic seems to be entirely on the road this season. They are the road warriors. So they need to figure out how to do it in front of their home fans. They have the talent to do that. But in that district.
You're kind of breaking up there, Scott. We'll get you a second.
Sorry.
Yeah, you still Charlie Brown's teacher. So I can't hold on. We'll give you a second to get to a signal. But yeah, Van Cleve is 3-1 on the road. Obviously beat Stone last week, and then they won at Hancock, and then they won at George County. 3 straight wins on the road. They lost that season opener at St. Martin. So yeah, they're playing at home though, and usually it's a pretty big crowd there, a big 5-7 there with Jason Phillips, as we have lost Scott Watkins from the Sun Herald as he is going to West Harrison. there, and totally understand, Scott, if you could try to get it back on, that link that I sent you should still be good to do it. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson, I don't know. Kids may not know nowadays Taller Brown's teacher, because Taller Brown's teacher, you never could hear her. It's just a lot of womp, 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 womp. And now, unfortunately, what Scott was doing, just losing a bad signal there. Scott Watkins of the Sun Herald. Hopefully he'll be able to make it back online as we were going through some of the games, and like his insight on some teams as he covers them, just like, we cover them. So the other game, like I say, Gaucher at East Central. East Central there again, 0-3 at home. Gaucher on a 5-game winning streak now. Overall, they've won 16 straight at home, but they're on the road here tonight. I have them winning 43-11. We're going to bring Scott back on if we can. There we go. There we go. All right, I think we have you. Yeah, I know it's a bad signal there at West Harrison, I guess. It's still frozen. We trying. I can see you're moving.
Can't hear me though.
Yeah, now I can. I see you moving, and I can't hear you if you're talking now. That's just technology nowadays. Yeah, I can't hear you. We'll give you a second to see about getting in the area there. But as far as the Smack'Em Athletics, the passing leaders, I say on the coast, but they do have Kobe King up there at Greene County leading 1,921 yards, 23 passing touchdowns. And anytime you want to test it, Scott, you can come on. As far as coast players, Pascal Christian, Paris Tribulin, 1,690 yards. Silas Quarter from Pascagoula, 1,454 yards. They have a list of all the players. There are about 10 or 12 players listed for the passing leaders from Smack'Em Athletics, which is SMACM Athletics with an X. I have them pinned to the top of my page. You can go to follow them on Facebook. Coach rushing leaders, no surprise there. Darrell, I think it's Darrell. I've been saying it wrong. Darrell Smith from Picayune, 1,731 yards rushing, leads the coast. Aforementioned Jordan Stapleton of West Harrison, 1,157 yards. Only 2 players over 1,000 yards. Cooper Crosby out of Gulfport, 823 yards, 11 rushing touchdowns there as the coast leader. Again, it's 9-10 names. If you want to read them all or look at them all, check out our page. Receiving, Matthew Danley from Pascal Christian, 723 yards. He has 8 receiving touchdowns. Jace Matthews from Greene County, 696 yards. Bryn Moody from George County, 577 receiving yards. Avery Harris from Bay, 529 yards. Those are the teams with players with over 500 yards. Defensively, again, from Smack'Em Athletics, the stats, they post the stats every Friday. And let me see if we get Scott back on here. Okay.
All right.
You there? All right. We might have you here.
I turned the old hotspot on. I turned the hotspot on.
Okay. I've certainly, but to that 5A, Scott, as far as you agree that it's Gaucher's region to lose, being on top at 2-0, they do, face Laurel here in a few weeks, but you would agree that it's theirs to lose, the region that is.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying before, when I cut out, I think that the race for that second spot is going to be extremely competitive, because I think Gaucher's got it. Even if you have that game looming with Laurel, and they've also got Stone, I think, the week before. Those two teams might both have 2 losses heading to that one. Very, very possible. That's a possibility. So for Gaucher, it seems like it's in the bag. They just have to not think of it that way.
Correct. They do play after they play at East Central tonight, which they should win. Then they play at Stone, which is at Perk where they play their home games at. It's it's not Stone could beat Gaucher. It wouldn't be a shock there, but then they will host Laurel with that streak on the line again. 16 games, I want to say, home winning streak for Gaucher, and then for them to win the region last time. Bingo it was 2008. It's been a while since they won a region title there, but heck, I would think that the region title is nice for them to win. I know, Coach High and them would certainly like that, but they want to get past where they've been the past 2 years, and that is to the state championship game, because they've been to South State the past 2 years and lost to Laurel the past 2 years. So
they lost to Laurel. It was Picayune the year before.
I'm sorry, it was the Picayune. Yes, they lost to them twice in the last year. So that's what I was thinking of.
Because they lost. It's tough for them. They lost the district championship game last week of the season, each of the last 2 years, and then lost the rematch both times in South State. So they're feeling that.
Yes, and Gaucher's. They're a great team. That formed. People they're not that old per se. 1997 is when they formed, and no other team I think in the state has ever done what they to start off the way they did. With 11-1, 12-1, 11-1, 4 straight region titles. That to start off for school. I know they were a part of Hattiesburg, Pascagoula, but still, we'll move on here to get it through because I know, like I said, we have a handful of minutes with you left. Where I believe our next guest will be coming on around after 6. Pearl River Central, again, should be in the playoffs with that 5-team division, and they play at Hattiesburg tonight. Coach Feaster, a great job to get them in the playoffs in 2015, but I have them have them losing tonight 47-12. Hattiesburg is just, a top-notch team there. And the other 6A Region 4, we just mentioned George County, West Harrison. Pascagoula Hancock. Can Hancock pull the upset against Pascagoula, who's Pascagoula's 5-0 at home, but they're on a 3-game road losing streak. 0-2 this year to Panthers. Can Hancock get the win?
It's possible, but here's the thing. Pascagoula is no George County when it comes to defense. Pascagoula, they're incredibly athletic on that side of the ball, and you've got to be able to score points to keep up with their offense as well. They're a very, very well put together team. I think that there have been moments where maybe they didn't handle adversity extremely well, but when they're in control, they are in control. So I don't foresee any issues being had for Gula.
Yeah, I believe, like I say, I had predicted that they were going to win the region. Of course, that kind of went out the window when they lost at Picayune, even though they were leading at halftime. But several teams have led at halftime, including D'Iberville at Picayune, and they ended up losing. Pascagoula, I just feel, is on both sides of the ball, is well balanced. They did lose their captain in Parnell on defense, which does hurt there. But I do have them winning 36-22 at Hancock. I'll be able to watch that game on the live stream. Speaking of Picayune, they will host Long Beach. 21 straight region wins Picayune has. Of course, being back-to-back region champions helped there. But they have Long Beach. With J.R. Who's that? Junior Brown. Yep. Long Beach. He's a great running back. But, I've been called his name Darrell. It's Darrell, but it's Darrell Smith from Picayune, is it not?
Darrell Smith.
He's the leading rusher on the coast, and man, he put it up last week. All kinds of long runs there. So I don't think Picayune will have a problem there with Long Beach. So we'll finish it off here with the top in the 7A. Now just 6 teams. It was 8, so still 4 make the playoffs. Harrison Central, D'Iberville. D'Iberville backs against the wall. Usually last year it took 2 wins to get it in. They got 3 games left to win 2 games. Here's 1 game tonight. Can they beat Harrison Central at D'Iberville?
I do think they can, and I expect them to. I think that Harrison Central, they've got their 1 win that they're going to have here in district play. D'Iberville, it's going to be tough to claw back in it, but I do think that they are strong enough to be a playoff team.
Yes. I have them 34-18. D'Iberville winning there. I did have D'Iberville, being the 2nd seed as I projected, but again, I was wrong with Ocean Springs, beat them that first game. But they have to get this win tonight, the Warriors, or the
Absolutely.
playoffs are looking not so good. Ocean Springs on the road. They won at home last week for the first time. Ocean Springs has 21 straight region titles, region games. They've won, of course, 3 straight regions. They're at Biloxi, and I mean, I saw an Ocean Springs fan on there saying that Biloxi may pull the upset on his own team, but I have Ocean Springs winning there until Biloxi can get their offense going. Their defense is pretty sound, but I have the Greyhounds winning 33-17. How do you like that game, Biloxi hosting Ocean Springs?
I do like Ocean Springs in that one. Now, Biloxi did trip up Gulfport pretty good in that Thursday night game. Had Gulfport stuck in the mud for the entire first half. So that could be a factor, but it seems like Jake Bramlett has figured out the recipe with Sherrod Whitehead at quarterback. So if they can keep that going, they shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, with Ocean Springs, I said, we'll see what Biloxi has. If they can get them tonight, that would be it would really throw a wrench in the things there. The last game, St. Martin, 0-2 at Gulfport, who was 2-0, of course, beat D'Iberville last week. Yellow Jackets 1-2 on the road. Gulfport 2-1 at home. It's their homecoming for Gulfport. No about any distractions, or they're looking ahead at next week's game at Ocean Springs. Could St. Martin come in here and pull the upset on the Admirals on their homecoming?
No, they can't. No. It won't happen. St. Martin's a year or two away. I like St. Martin. I like Ty Smith. They're talented. They're just really young, especially offensively. Very, very young.
Yeah, I know they have the brothers there. I've seen that, reviews of the two brothers, but I think they're maybe seniors or juniors, but they have some younger players. They definitely do. Coach Ty Smith there, and I say they're playing better this year. They stopped the losing streak. That is the Yellow Jackets, and they've won 3 games. They beat Hancock when Hancock tried to go for 2 points, and then won at East Central, but they have lost Harrison Central 20-16, which that was kind of a closer game, obviously there, and then 34-14 last week against. So is the 15 games that will be tonight, and I guess we're fixing to be getting as it's sitting 6 o'clock, and I know you're going to be pairing up for West Harrison at George County at West Harrison. So we'll look for those live updates there, and we'll have to bring you back on when that reclassification comes out. Of course, you hear, we don't like spread rumors or what if or what, the big one, with Harrison Central, we'll have to see if that's going to take place or not, if Harrison Central is going to move up to the Region 3 in 6 and 7A. So, but I'll have to bring you on for another time on that. But I certainly appreciate it, Scott, here an hour before kickoff, and happy almost birthday coming up here in past birthday. Your birthday was on the 23rd.
It was. Thank you very much, Matt.
It was. So glad you're able to have your birthday, and more birthdays you have, the longer you live. So
that's true.
That's good there. So I certainly appreciate it. Hopefully we can get you on again. Very informative there. At least I don't have to talk to myself and say what I think will happen in games. I got another person to say. So,
absolutely.
A different opinion, which everybody surely helps. So maybe we could bring you on in the post-game show one night, or be it tonight or be it next week. But look forward to getting you back on the show coming up here the next couple of weeks.
All right, man. No problem. I really thank you for having me, man.
Yep. All right, Scott. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. All right. Again, that was Scott Watkins there with son Harold. Appreciate him joining us and with his insight there for game by game. We're going to be having another guest coming on here to go over some games and his thoughts on coast football in general. Again, we're going over the statistical leaders that you could find on Smack 'em Athletics, the Facebook page. We have them pinned to our page at the top. That's SMACM Athletics with the X. And let me see some of the comments. Of course, the links, do not click on the links. They should be hidden, but I see we'll block him. Do not post any links on the page. They automatically are hidden and you are blocked. So we got Randy, Indians by 30. If they could they can put some points on the board. I mean, Biloxi has struggled to put points on the board there, Randy. Let me see what they are averaging here. 14 points per game, 18 points on defense. So they won that, shut out Stone in game 1, 15-0. They lost against Meridian 26-6. They beat George County 30-13. Yes, the Deuce did go out in the first quarter. Would that made a difference? It might have made a difference, or probably would have. But yeah, you're gonna take the win there. Lost against Hattiesburg 12-7, and that was, again, everybody thought they were going to get blown out, including myself. But the Indians held true there. And then at Pascagoula, I thought they had a shot at Pascagoula. They did not. 44-3, Biloxi fell there, and then they lost hosting Gulfport on that Thursday night game, 21-7. Last week they beat St. Martin 34-14. They have Ocean Springs there tonight, and then they're at Harrison Central, and then they'll host D'Iberville. They have one region win. They need another region win to really have a good look at a playoff. So right now, Gulfport and Ocean Springs are at 2-2, 2-0, undefeated. Harrison Central, Biloxi at 1-1. D'Iberville, St. Martin are at 0-2. 4 teams will make the playoffs, leaving 2 teams out. And right now, I do have St. Martin not making it there in the playoffs. The other ones, it's up for grabs, and we're going to bring in another special guest there. Legit, there's Blake Brennan. Man, we moving up in the world to get Blake Brennan on the show. We certainly appreciate it. Blake, how you hearing me?
Hey, guys, I think I can hear you okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We just, of course, had Scott on there, and his signal, it just depends on where you're at, lost signal. In fact, where are you headed to currently? To a game?
Yeah. So I actually just pulled up to Bay High, so my signal might not be the best out here, but over here for Bay High and Poplarville this evening.
Bay High and Poplarville. Well, I certainly appreciate it. Of course, you do the sports there on WLOX. That's where we share the highlights from. You guys have the show. Look like you guys have so much fun there. Matt Diargado, if I'm saying that right. And then, of course, the 2 other guests that you bring on there. You guys just make it lively. So I certainly appreciate it, especially give me some of the scores that I lacked some weeks there. So, but what do you, as far as, with the highlights, because you get highlights from majority, especially the games on the coast, for yourself, I mean, for the fans that are watching and stuff, you go to how many games? You have it planned out, obviously, what game you're going to go to from this game to get this first half and this second half. I mean, how many games do you go to, you personally, in the night? 3, 4?
Usually just for me, I usually try and stay kind of close by. So I'll usually just hit one game and then come back and make sure that we've got all of our other games, set and ready to go. But we've got, on a normal night, we've got about 6 or 7 shooters out. And a lot of the times that can cover most of the games here on the coast if one person can go grab 2. But sometimes you look at the schedule and there's not really a good run to make in between 2 times. So we just kind of wait and see and then plan it out. I usually get everything done by about Monday night, so just to kind of see what the week ahead looks like, and if I've got to tweak anything, throughout the rest of the week, just to see where we can adjust, where we can send some people if we need them to grab another game or something.
Yes, that is. I totally understand. I know you're big, not just for high school sports, but with state schools, and of course with Gulf Coast. Maybe we'll see you up there tomorrow for homecoming. I'll be up there as Gulf Coast hosts Coahoma for homecoming. But they're popular. I mean, what teams are surprising you as far as we can go as far as 4A? Is Poplarville, they're going to win the region over Greene County, or how familiar you are with Greene County?
Poplarville has, it seems like we say this every year, Poplarville is just a machine. J Beach has it running like a machine year in and year out. We used to joke and we called it the Poplarville football machine every single, whenever they came out and just do what they do. But, J Beach has a really good handle on that program. It's a lot of kids that have grown up, in Poplarville Middle School, grown up in the same stuff. So, Poplarville very much coming as advertised this year in 4A. So, but this is, this division, it's the weirdest one on the coast, just because there's just 5 teams in it. So it's really easy for one of these teams, if you win games at the right time, you can make a playoff push, at any point in this 4A district.
Yes, yes. As you see, like I say, we have Poplarville and Greene County at 2-0, and then Pass Christian and Bay. Pass Christian at 1-2, who's off tonight, and then Bay, who you're there going to cover their first half there. Poplarville at Bay tonight, but that matchup next week with Greene County at Poplarville is going to be for the region title, as it was last year. So that'll be very interesting game there. And Keys, played the running back for Poplarville, has been out all season. He made it back last week, so hopefully you'll see him there tonight to get a good view of to get him back in rhythm, to see how good. I know he's good, but to see if he's running on all cylinders there. With 5A, you have all these teams at 1-1, 4 teams at 1-1. You have Stone at Wayne County tonight, Laurel at Van Cleve, and Gaucher at East Central. What about as far as, can Stone win at Wayne County?
I think this is probably a good bounce back game, or a good bounce back opportunity for Stone. Just last week it was just nothing. I was at that Stone Van Cleve game last week, and just for Stone, just nothing kind of clicked. They could never really get into a rhythm. They couldn't, they just couldn't get anything going. They just couldn't seem to get their offense going the way that they have in weeks past. And then, the defense was put in some pretty tough situations, backed way up. So I think this week it's a good reset and a good kind of a bounce back week for Stone against a Wayne County team that has shown some struggles in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, certainly has. Of course, Stone made it in the playoffs last year, if not mistaken. There, I would have to look and see. Laurel at Van Cleve. Can Van Cleve? Laurel's not the same team necessarily as it was last year. But they're 1-1. They're defending region champion. Can Van Cleve beat Laurel there? They're a better road team, the Bulldogs, but 1-2 at home this year. Can they take out the Golden Tornadoes?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game, one way or the other. But I think if Van Cleve can come out and be able to run their offense like they were last week, then I think that I think they'll be okay.
And Stone did not make the playoffs last year. I was looking at it; they did not make the playoffs. Gaucher, again, it's their region to win. They're at East Central, who's 0-2 tonight. Gaucher on a 5-game winning streak. I am winning 43-11. I mean, Gators shouldn't have a problem. They're not going to overlook, East Central and look at Laurel for. I'm sorry, not Laurel. They actually will play Stone next week. So you think Gaucher, it's their region to lose as far as their favorite to win the region, the way they're looking.
Yeah. I mean, Mark has got Gaucher still, really, really running the way that he wants them to run. That offense that is a very high-powered offense, and I've really been most impressed by really I knew that the Gaucher offense was going to be pretty solid coming into the season, and I've been really impressed by how their defense has risen to the occasion of kind of trying to match the offense as well.
Yeah, their defense has struggled. They did beat Columbia 42-21. They lost. They beat Pascagoula 38-31. So their defense has given up more points this year. I believe I look back under Coach Hyde than since he's been coaching. So, they have to, get it up a notch there as far as with the Gators. But I think again, it's their region to win there. I digress and go back to Moss Point. Moss Point winless on the season with eight-game losing streak. If they don't win, this is their last game tonight. They don't play next week for Halloween night. They're off. If they don't win tonight, it'd be the first time they haven't won a game since 1952. So I mean, that's not a great stat. I'm not saying they're not putting in the time and effort, with their coach there, but I mean, it is kind of, I say disappointing. I know the players try to put it hard, but I mean, your thoughts on Moss Point? I know it's going to be hard for them to win at Greene County tonight. Oh, and we lost them. That's just technology. We'll see if we can get Blake Brandon back on from WLOX. As we just had Scott Watkins on there from the Sun Herald. He's setting up there at West Harrison as George County at West Harrison. I mean, West Harrison Rebels lead at 3-2, so it hasn't been like they've won every game against West Harrison. Oh, you there?
Right. Yep. Sorry, I had to cut out. Like I said, the service up here is a little
that's
can
totally.
be a little
I just
spotty
did.
sometimes.
I didn't know if you had any thoughts on Moss Point. I mean, I guess there isn't much to say. I mean, they're winless in the first time they're going to go winless since 1952. It's what a great history. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a tough season for Moss Point. But I mean they've got some talent. They've got a lot of talented players out there. Going through a transitionary period with a new head coach and stuff. So it's some of that is kind of to be expected a little bit, just with a big transition like that going into with a new head coach and trying to get everybody on the same page. But yeah, it's just a tough year for Moss Point, and but I think that team still has a lot of talent, still has a good path forward for the future. And I think that they'll be back to where they need to be.
Yeah, I just saw on Facebook, I believe it was their 8th grade team or something like that. They won a championship. I have to go back and look, but I mean, that's how you get it through the pipeline, through your 8th grade, 9th grade players moving up. So,
yeah,
I mean, Moss Point would be there. And then it brings me actually to the opposite way, where PRC had that long losing streak, and Coach Feaster, who was at Moss Point, went there, and all of a sudden PRC unofficially is in the playoffs. I mean, they play at Hattiesburg tonight, but I mean they've had a good season there, stopping that 17-game losing streak, and now all of a sudden they're in the playoffs since 2015. So
yeah, and PRC is a team that I feel like every year, outside of a couple of games, has been really, really close to succeed. I mean, the margin of success is razor thin, a lot of the times. But, that's one of those teams that the kids really, when I was out there for our football previews back in, July and August, the kids really want to play for Feaster. He's got a good, finger on the pulse up there. He's from Picayune originally. So he's got a good handle on Pearl River County just as a whole. And they've got a lot of talent. Corday Russell is one of the most fun players to watch on the coast. Just anytime that he does it, he's a heck of a punter too. I don't know if you know that, but he was one of the leading punters in the state for a while at the quarterback position. That team is they're finally playing up to the potential, and then getting some of the things that they need to go their way to eventually go their way.
Yes. As Tony, we got Tony O. Peters talking about going back to the Moss Point. They have a lot of talent. They just need players to come back. As far as, like I say, they were one of the top schools that has lost a lot of players there in Moss Point. But George County at West Harrison, West Harrison can take George County. I mean, with that 60-50 game, 69-50.
Yeah. That's, I mean, if West Harrison can run the ball, I mean, Coach Quincy Patrick, he is Mr. Wing T. That is that is what he loves, and he lives and breathes, the wing T, and that is exactly what they do. Their offensive line knows where to go, they know where to block, and then they've got just a stable full of talented running backs there. So it's kind of becoming, if West Harrison wants to make it into the playoffs, we're kind of now getting into crunch time, where they've got to get these wins down the stretch. Now it's not going to be easy against Deuce Knight and George County, but as we've seen kind of throughout the season, it's possible to get George County into some of these close games, and you just have to finish. But I think that is going to be a really good game one way or the other. And I'm really curious to see if West Harrison can have the same amount of success running the ball that they did last week and carry that over into this week.
Yeah, I guess again, it took 2 wins last year. There's 6 teams in the Division 4 make it. They are 0-2. They play George County tonight. They're at Pascagoula next week, and then they host Long Beach. That is West Harrison. Can they find 2 wins out of those next 3 games? We shall see there. Hancock hosting Pascagoula. Can Hancock beat West Harrison, and now
Yeah.
can they take out Pascagoula, who's 5-0 at home, but this is a road game. They have a 3-game road losing streak. That is the Panthers. Can the Hawks,
Yeah.
take out the Panthers?
Man, I was saying, last week that West Harrison Picayune game, if they didn't score, combine over 100 points, that game probably would have been over in about 45 minutes because they just
Yeah.
run the ball. It's the exact opposite for this game. This game might go into tomorrow with how often these two teams throw the ball. But that's going to be that's a really great matchup. I love that is. That is a region game now to see those two teams go at it. Neil Lawler loves running the air raid, loves throwing the ball, loves getting really creative with the offense. I know they've had a bit of a down year, but that offense is still really potent when it clicks. When everything works in the right way, that offense can be really, really dangerous. And then on the other side, you've got one of the top quarterbacks on the coast in Silas Quarter for Pascagoula. So that's just a really fun matchup to watch. My dad was an offense coordinator in high school, so that's what I always key in on stuff. And I love like passing attacks in high school because you don't see it very often. And those are two teams that are really two of my favorite teams to watch, just from an offensive standpoint. So I think that's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, I don't think you were here on the coast when Miles Brennan and Dylan Favre come through back in. That was
No, that was
that you talking about. The stats. 64 touchdowns in a season.
It's
He was
crazy.
Miles Brennan. You take it all in. We called their games when I called high school football games. We called both of them, Dylan Favre and Miles Brennan.
Yeah.
We have Long Beach at Picayune. Picayune shouldn't overlook as they have George County next week. They should be able to take care of Long Beach. But again, J.R. Junior Brown there, a great running back for Long Beach. They stopped their losing streak, and can they? We have them on the outside looking in the playoffs as we're coming up on
Yeah.
6-18. I know you're going to be fixing me going there, Blake. Last 3 games, 7-8. Harrison Central, D'Iberville. D'Iberville's 0-2. Harrison Central 1-1. D'Iberville has to win tonight. You would think, again,
Yeah,
2
I
wins
think
to get
that's
into the region.
Yeah, that's a must win for D'Iberville, and I think it's a game that D'Iberville can win. They've just got to they just have to. It is going to sound weird, but D'Iberville just has to be themselves on offense. It's like they've tried to work some stuff out, and they've gotten Wally more involved in the offense, which I think is really good because he is just he can be a home run ball when you need him to. But I think you can't rely on him too much because now defenses have seen him, they know what he can do, and then they'll kind of start to key in on that. So you've got to really kind of just be yourself if you're D'Iberville. Be that hard nosed, big physical D'Iberville football team that we've seen in years past.
Yeah, I have D'Iberville winning there 34-18. I have D'Iberville winning. St. Martin at Gulfport. Gulfport, I have them winning the region. They're at 2-0. Of course, they play at Ocean Springs next week where they overlook St. Martin. I have them winning 34-14. I don't know if there's going to be any surprises there. But anything could happen on a Friday night. But the last game there,
Oh yeah,
Blake, Ocean Springs, we have them 4th ranked at Biloxi, 10th ranked. Biloxi 1-1. Ocean Springs 2-0. They have 21 straight region wins. The Greyhounds.
yeah.
Can Biloxi beat them? Coach Dubuisson, their defense is there. Just not scoring a lot of offense. The Indians.
Yeah, that's the thing is with Biloxi is I personally have not seen Biloxi in person this year. I've just watched, just seen the highlights of, pardon me, I've been out to practice and stuff. But from everything that I've seen, is the defense is there. They just have some real struggles on offense, and the problem with that is the way that Ocean Springs has been playing lately. The season didn't start how they wanted it to, obviously, but they've come back, won 3 in a row, trying to make it an even 500 on the season. 3-0 in region play. So, but the Ocean Springs offense is going to be able to score points. It's just, can that Biloxi offense keep up? The
Yeah.
defense has been doing its job, but you can't. No one can pitch a shutout week in and week out if on the defensive side of the ball. Like, something's going to break eventually, and it's no one's fault. It's just you've got to have your offense help you out a little bit. You know, it's like run support when you're a pitcher. You know, it's like you don't want to be in a 1-0 ball game going into the seventh inning, right? So,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
you want to have your offense not bail out your defense, but at least help them out a little bit.
It is, and I go back to where I just saw. I believe Ocean Springs and Biloxi played. I believe it was the 9th grade for the championship. So again, you know, Coach Dubuisson, you know, he won't come in here and win the region. That's you know, I wouldn't think he was going to do that. But you know, give him a year or two. I think Coach Dubuisson will have Biloxi, you know, their run, you know, as contenders for possibly a region title, which the last one was 2011 at Biloxi, but they need this win tonight. They're 1-1. If they win tonight, they almost can secure a playoff spot there and have something to say about the region title there. So, but I certainly appreciate you joining. I know, you know, you didn't think back when you were, you know, running that there at Florida State at that Tomahawk Talk that you'd be here and you know, here on the Gulf Coast talking to Matt Stats about high school football. But I know that's where you got your start at Florida State. We don't necessarily want to bring up Florida State. Just having not a with bingo. You and bingo like Florida State. So
Yep. No, it's no, I really appreciate you having me on. This is some of my favorite stuff to do. When I was on the radio back in college, this is basically what it was. It was we had an hour-long sports talk show, and it felt like I was just like sitting on the couch with a bunch of my buddies, and we were just talking about what we saw, over the last week. But no, I really do appreciate you having me on. I've been here down on the coast for almost 4 years now. January will make it 4 years. So, I've seen I've seen a ton of, talent come through here. And I really do think that it's one of the best places to watch high school football, across, in this southern part of the country for sure.
Yes, I do agree with you there. Again, a coast team has made it to the state championship game, since 2012, except for last year. So hopefully we'll get several of them there at a state championship game. But we'll take it tonight. We look forward to, again, I'll tune you in and maybe ask you for the same couple teams who don't post their scores. I won't say their names, but look forward to the highlights and the show that y'all have about 10:15, 10:20 on WLOX is about when it comes on. So
10:15 on WLOX for the 9th edition, believe it or not, of the Friday Night Football Show.
I know it's going by. Like I said, we take it night by night and week by week, and certainly appreciate you there, Blake Brennan there from WLOX. They're starting off at Poplarville at Bay High. So
yes, sir.
Have a great night, and we'll catch the highlights later tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Y'all take care.
All right, Blake. Thank you. All right. That was the two guests. Hey, we get a Sun Herald and WLOX. Next, we have to try for a WXXV to get them on here. Is it 6:25? 6:25, obviously 35 minutes away. And I saw asking about the Ocean Springs, and somebody did answer you. It is on that OS Hounds Live. Of course, here at the headquarters tonight, I will be watching several live streams tonight. Biloxi, Ocean Springs at Biloxi. I watch Ocean Springs live stream. Gulfport on their huddle has a live stream. D'Iberville with Jeremy Forehand there hosting Harrison Central on their live stream. Picayune Talking Ball, y'all, their app. It's not a live stream. It's audio. Excuse me, it's audio. It's free. Talking Ball app. Download it for free. I have it on my phone. You can listen to Poplarville Picayune PRC on that app. Also, you can listen to the podcast. There's a button on there to click there. Pascagoula at Hancock. I'll be watching Pascagoula live stream and Hancock. Hancock has a live stream on their home games on YouTube. Both of them on YouTube. George County, West Harrison doesn't have a live stream. PRC, Hattiesburg, Goshen, East Central, Van Cleve does not. Stone County, nobody else does. So that's who I'll be listening to. And then on Facebook, I'll post up a post for score updates for the fans out there. It takes all of us to inform each other about score updates. And then on Twitter, at Coast Football, that you can follow there for instant score updates. The ones on Facebook kind of takes a little bit to get the updates, but I certainly appreciate you guys joining us here for the pregame on week 9. Week 9, again, the amount of games are getting getting down. In fact, Moss Point's and St. Patrick's on their last game of the season. They don't play next week. Next week, actually, games start on Halloween night, August 31st on Thursday. So playoffs will begin 2 weeks for some classes. Appreciate Bingo Media. Again, our guest, Sun Herald, Scott Watkins, and then Blake Brennan from WLOX. Matt Stats will be back with the post-game show later tonight by 10:30. So until then, keep the light shining. Stats out.